Hello and welcome to Direct Approach with Wayne Moorehead, an exclusive podcast by DSN where Wayne shares candid and insightful conversations with leading corporate executives about today's evolving direct sales channel. Tune in every other Thursday for timely insights and relevant takeaways to grow and advance your business. In today's episode, Wayne is joined by Patrick Wright, CEO of AdvoCare. As a 21-year veteran of direct selling, Patrick has served in a variety of leadership positions since joining the AdvoCare team in 2008 as a marketing intern. 3 days after being named CEO in 2019, his first task in his new role was to lead the organization in one of the most significant transformations in not only the company's history, but in the entire channels. Today, Patrick shares a behind-the-scenes look at how he and his executive team shifted the business model to a single-level compensation plan, the lessons learned, and the value of removing complexity in the sales process. We know you'll gain insightful perspectives and takeaways from this intriguing story. Before we begin the interview, we want to know, have you registered for the Spring DSU event? If you'd like to learn more from today's top executive leaders from some of the brightest brands across the channel, we invite you to join us at the largest executive-attended event in the channel, DSU, on Wednesday, April 19th and Thursday, April 20th in Frisco, Texas. DSU is a direct selling 2-day masterclass with a TED-style show flow featuring 30 subject matter experts and executive leaders sharing their insights and learnings for the greater good of the entire channel. You will have the opportunity to learn and network with peers from companies like Market America, LifeWave, Prove It, Faster Way to Fat Loss, Red Aspen, Zingular, USANA, Pharmacy, Rodan and Fields, Plexus, Legal Shield, Promptings, PM International, and more. Plus, all registered DSU attendees are invited to an exclusive bonus track on Wednesday, April 19th, following general session for The Next Revolution, a digital selling workshop. Learn from executives who are leading the way in influencer, affiliate, and tiered affiliate marketing models like Amanda Tress, founder and CEO of Faster Way to Fat Loss, who was a top-rated speaker at the fall DSU event, Christina Hellweg, Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at AdvoCare. Well, she will dive into the specific strategies that AdvoCare is using in their new model. And workshop host and industry expert Heather Chastain, founder and CEO of Bridgehead Collective, will provide an overview and case study, including best practices and examples, plus an opportunity for live Q&A. DSU and the workshop are in-person only and free to all active corporate direct selling executives. Simply register today at dsu2023.com. And now, please help me welcome your host, Wayne Moorehead, and today's guest, Patrick Wright, CEO of AdvoCare.
Hello and welcome to another episode of DSN's Direct Approach podcast. As always, I am your host, Wayne Moorehead. And today I am very excited to be joined by another incredible leader. From the moment he took the CEO role, he had to make some very tough decisions and navigate significant challenges and changes. And he and his team did an amazing job of turning those challenges into success. His company made one of the most impressive shifts in the entire channel's history. I'm talking about the CEO of AdvoCare, Patrick Wright. Patrick, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Wayne. I'm excited to be here. And thank you for a very kind and generous introduction. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I mentioned before we started recording, so many of us are excited to learn more and more about this incredible shift that you and AdvoCare have made. It's been one of the most requested podcasts, so we are so excited to dig in today. Before we go too deep, can you tell us just a little bit about what led you into direct selling more than 20 years ago?
Wow, it hasn't been a long time. I think it was 2003. I was wrapping up my bachelor's degree at school, and that one of the requirements was an internship. And I just asked around, asking family, and ended up with a brother-in-law that was at a direct sales company. And I said, "Hey, do they have any internships in the marketing department over there? Can you talk to somebody?" And he asked around, and I was able to get an internship, and they actually paid me, I think, like $10 an hour or something like that. So I was excited in college, started out there. So I think it was my last semester in college. I just doing it because it was a requirement to graduate. And I ended up staying on. They hired me as soon as I graduated. I started out in the marketing department, making what graduates then made, which was, 20 something $1,000. I think, just working in the marketing department. I think market research was where I started out, and just really learned so much about the channel and so quickly. And what one of the best parts about this industry, and especially, if you get lucky, and of course, in every career, you need a little bit of luck to succeed. You need to be in the right place at the right time. And I like to think if you're working hard and always willing to jump in when an opportunity presents itself, if you just get a little bit of luck and you're willing to take some risk, it'll pay off. And especially in this industry, because there are often so many companies that can grow really quickly. And when a company is growing really quickly, you're given opportunities that you wouldn't be given in a regular traditional company, because people are needed to step into positions they may not be ready for. And I guess maybe that's been kind of the story of my life as I look at it. Maybe I continually thrown into positions that I don't know if I'm ready for, but I'm willing to do it anyway. And let's go. And so really that was just kind of how it all started for me, just giving opportunities. Over the past 20 years, been given opportunities to do new things, new challenges, and learn along the way. And of course, still learning so much today.
Those first impressions and first experiences can be amazing. And I also agree that is one of the things I found in my career as well. Given opportunities way earlier than, if I went the CPG route or something like that, I would not have had those same experiences and opportunities. And that is the one magical thing about this industry and this channel for sure. So for those that may not be familiar, you were able at DSU to share a little bit about kind of this incredible shift. For those that may not be familiar, just to kind of set the table a little bit, can you talk about the shift in business model that AdvoCare underwent in 2019?
Yes. And I'm guessing if you're listening, that probably most everybody is aware of what happened. But, just to give a little bit of context to the story, really, if we talk about the story of our transformation, it probably goes back to about 2016. And in 2016, we found out, we received word that the FTC was investigating our company and had a lot of questions about the business model. And, we never knew really what it meant, except we knew that they had a lot of questions and that they had a lot of authority and a lot of power to force some drastic changes and to do a lot to really look into the business in any way that they wanted to. So one of the hard things about this type of investigation is you never really know exactly what the end game is. You never know exactly what to do, but we're looking at the past and what had happened. And so really we spent 2.5 years working as close as we could with the FTC to answer all the questions, but also spending a lot of time and a lot of money and resources to look at potentially adjusting the compensation plan, similar to what Herbalife did after their FTC investigation, and working with consultants and people that worked with Herbalife at that time, really to figure out, okay, how do we fix this and make this right? We believe we're one of the good guys. We believe that we're doing things right. We have amazing products and we have so many customers. So we believe we have a product-focused model. We believe our leaders are, the good ones that are out there trying to do it right. And how do we prove that? And so we really set on a mission to prove that to the FTC, to show them, hey, we're one of the good guys here. If you feel we need to make some changes, if the industry needs to make changes to compensation, let's look at that. We wanted to talk with them about that and show them. And so we really spent those 2.5 years trying to do that. Really focused on, what could that be? What would a compensation plan look like that it was even more customer friendly? There were less requirements to earn commissions, lowering the buy-in to get started, all the different things that we all know. If you're in the industry, you know about these things. So we spent a long time looking at that, spent a lot of money, a lot of lawyers. Unfortunately, as that 2.5 years came to an end, we really saw that That was not something that the FTC was interested in doing with us. They were not interested in us adjusting the compensation plan. There wasn't a big interest in doing something similar to what Herbalife did. And in the end, it was clear that if we wanted to keep our company going, if we wanted to continue to sell products, we would have to do a complete shift in how we sell the products, and a complete shift in our compensation model, and truly move away completely from any multi-level marketing, any network marketing at all. We would have to move away from that completely. And our only option was to move into a single level compensation plan where, and basically, I'm sure everyone knows what that means, but in case you're wondering, the company, everyone is direct to the company. Anyone that signs up to sell the products is signed up directly to the company. And there is no other level of compensation anywhere. No one that sells products can benefit from anything other than someone they have personally introduced the products to buying. That is the only way that someone can benefit. So that's what a single level compensation plan looks like. So long story short is we spent a lot of money. There were a lot of lawyers involved, a lot of consultants for almost 3 years trying to figure out and make a deal, make a plan that in the end there was no plan. There was no deal. It was truly change everything and move to a single level compensation plan. And that was scary. And, we really had to make a decision. Do we move to that single level compensation plan, or do we attempt to take this to the courts to fight it? Do we say, hey, we are one of the good guys, we're going to fight this, and how could that be? And really weighing what that would mean. At what cost would that be? What would happen to the business during such a fight? Could we continue to operate? And really, I guess, looking down, say 3 years from 2019, if we say 3 years from now, which route will keep the company alive, and which route will save the business for owners, which route will save the business for the employees that work here, which route is the best opportunity for success long run, 3, 5, 10, 20 years. And we decided that we truly felt the best route was the one we took, which was to change, to make the business change, to move forward, to completely wrap things up with the FTC and just move forward in a completely new business model. And that's what we decided to do.
Yeah, fascinating, daunting, scary, all these things, probably so many emotions and dynamics happening simultaneously. I think one really interesting piece of context relating to you personally is ultimately, as I understand it, this decision was made on day 3 of your tenure as CEO. Is that correct?
Yes.
So what was going through, again, just kind of being candid, like what was going through your mind? Was this like, okay, it's go time, we're all going to dig in? Or were you like, holy smokes, this might not be exactly what I signed up for? How are you feeling kind of emotionally at that moment?
Yeah, that's probably a very hard question to answer. I'll try to answer it because if there was not one set of emotions or one set of thoughts in my head, for sure, there was so much, leading up to that. And also, it was my 3rd day as CEO, but I had been heavily involved in the process the entire 3 years.
True. Yeah.
I was, when the investigation started, I was head of sales. So obviously I was a person of interest, for lack of a better term, and I've had many, many conversations and some not very fun throughout that process. And I was very much aware of what was going on and very much involved. From a career standpoint, I've always, had my career goals and set out. And I think, I don't know pinpoint exactly when, but I think it was, probably not too far into my tenure here at AdvoCare. I've been here for almost for 14 years. My goal was to reach this position, was to become the CEO. And I did have that goal. And even at, for the couple of years leading up to becoming here, to getting to this point, I was in a succession plan conversation. So there was a lot of talk about this. I was working towards this position. So what the difference was I never in my life and never could have imagined that I would have been given the opportunity in those conditions.
Sure.
And never did I ever imagine that I would be, the dream job, your career goal, the thing you've been striving for, that you wanted, that you actually it's put in front of you and you are looking at it saying, wait, do I really want this? And I did have to ask myself that question, because I looked at it and said, this is not the job that I've been working for the past, 17 years. It's not. This isn't. It was in my mind, it was very different. I did get advice from a very trusted mentor that said, "Hey, I don't know what you're supposed to do. I have no idea how this is going to work." But he said, "Did you think that you would get your dream job in just the best of circumstances?" He said, "Maybe the opportunity is coming to you. Maybe you're getting it because of the circumstances that are in it, and that it's an opportunity for you." And I did recognize, hey, I'm young. I was just 40 years old, and given an opportunity to be CEO of such an amazing company like AdvoCare is the opportunity of a lifetime. May not be in the circumstances that I'm was hoping for, that I planned on, that, as your expectations that we have for our life, but it's still an opportunity. And I love this company. And really, in the end, as it came to that decision, it was day 3 that I knew for sure that was what we were going to do. But of course, before day 1, I knew that was a very likely possibility. And also knowing that, I had been here at the time for over 10 years and had such a love for the company and for the ownership and for my fellow employees and for our distributors and our sales reps, that there's no way that I could possibly say no to giving everything I had to see if we can save this company and to really make it work. And not only just save it, but it's like you said, what was your thought process? We have a lot of different thought processes. And sometimes it was, we got to save this company. But oftentimes it was, we're going to make it work, and we're going to make it better, and we're going to make it even greater. And we're going to prove that we have an amazing company with amazing products, that people want them. And we always have. And the best way to prove what we were trying to prove those whole 3 or 4 years about who we are was to succeed without the MLM model. And that by doing so, we would prove everyone wrong in any thoughts they may have had about the company. And so we set out to do it. And then we set that as a goal and just ran after it.
That is so powerful. And it was such a defining moment for the company, for you as a leader. I'm certainly glad. I know the whole channel is as well, that you said yes, and that you and the owners and everybody were able to rally and really turn this into an incredible story for all of us. I think it's important to note also that a shift of this magnitude could have killed any company. It could have brought any company to its knees. What are a few of the most important things that you and AdvoCare did that helped to turn this into a success and kind of get it out of those choppy waters?
I remember, we would be, sitting in my office or sitting in a conference room or meeting in those first days where we had made the decision and we were thinking, okay, now what? And in one sense, it was hard that we didn't have a lot of time to make our decisions. And in another way, that was probably really good. We had 60 days when we said yes, we had 60 days to basically implement the new compensation plan and have it functioning in our systems. And anyone listening or watching in the industry knows that these IT systems that we have in these comp plans that are run on whatever they're run on, for most of us, you don't just tweak your comp plan and tweak the system and change the website and do everything. You don't just do that in a week or two. Basically, we gave ourselves just 2 or 3 weeks to finalize everything so that we could give the rest of the time to our digital and IT teams and marketing teams and everyone to build the new model, to build the new plan so that we could actually come out and successfully do it. So we really only had a few weeks to decide what we were going to do. How are we going to sell these products? How are we going to pay commission? Who's going to get it? We know what the rules are. There's a lot of them now. It's much more restricted, but how do we make it work? And so as me and my team, and we sat there talking through it, we would say, okay, we know what we can't do. All right. We know what our limitations are, but what do we still have, right? We're going to lose our leaders. We knew that. That was what made the decision so hard. So it's such a hard decision. These are close friends. Their families, their kids. You've been to their homes. You've traveled with them, and they're going to have to go somewhere else to try to create what they've created here. We know that we're going to lose our leaders. Okay, but at the same time, we have to look at it. But that is what it is. We have to move forward. So what do we have? And it starts with, we have these amazing products. We have products that people love. We have 200,000 preferred customers that love our products, that have no auto. We don't have auto ship. They're just buying them when they want to. We have great products and amazing customers. We have, just a great science behind the products. We have great endorsers and professional athletes using the products. We have innovation. We're constantly changing. We have all of these things that people love. We have this culture, and we do have, although most of our leaders will go elsewhere, we do have a strong group of amazing distributors who are staying with us because they love the products and they love to sell the products. They didn't really love to recruit people to the business. They just love to sell. And they're amazing people, and they're loyal, and they're sticking with us. So how do we make it the best for them? So we really, in the end, when we looked at it, yes, we're limited. This is going to be really hard. Wow, there's so many things we can't do, but at the same time, we have so many great things. In life, I think one of the lessons I've learned in life is how important it is to recognize the good things that you have in your life, gratitude, being grateful for things, recognizing and even saying out loud what good things are going, whether it's in your business or your personal life, and how that changes your perspective in everything you do. And we did that. We thought, what? This is hard. This is really tough. You know what? Sometimes we'd say this sucks. But you know what? We have an opportunity here, and we have so many great things still. So let's take advantage of that. Let's hold on. Everything that is great that we have, we are going to hold on to it. We cannot lose it. If we have something great, we're going to hold on to it, and we're going to celebrate it. We're going to try to make it even bigger, make it even better. So really I think that was kind of the initial kind of mindset before we started making decisions, was just hold on to the great, hold on to it.
I think that's really important. And I love that you saw this as an opportunity, not just, hey, this is something that happened to us, but let's take advantage of this. Let's leverage, as you mentioned, those assets that we have. But you touched on this, and I want to circle back. I read that you had kind of posed, whether it was kind of internally or to your team, I think a really important question. And you said, what can we do now that we weren't able to do before? Can you talk about just looking at it through that lens and kind of, posing that philosophical question, how that impacted the go forward direction?
Yeah. And it was looking at shifting a mindset, right? Because when we are faced with challenges and sometimes something's really heavy or scary in front of us, it's easy. And all of us have this natural inclination to kind of just focus on what we can't do or what's going wrong. We're focused on the negative. It's human nature. We all do it. I did it. But I just remember sitting in my office at night. I don't remember. It was late. It was dark. And figure, okay, what are we going to do? We got to write a new comp plan. Like, we have like 72 hours to write a new comp plan. We started thinking, you know what? We got to stop thinking about what we can do and start thinking about, in what ways have we been limited by the multi-level model? In what ways has the multi-level model not allowed us to do things that would have been great for the customer or for the products? What can we do now that we couldn't do before? And really start to think, flipping it and saying, yeah, we can't do this, but we can do this other thing over here. And I think that mindset shift really helped change the perspective, really going back to attitude and how we approached it, but also making sure that we were taking advantage of the opportunity. Okay, if we're going to make this work, we can't change it. What's done is done. The decision has been made. We are moving forward. We can sit and wish that we could recruit like we used to, but we can't. So, okay, so what are we going to do? Well, there were some things we would have probably done in the past, but for whatever reason we didn't, because it didn't flow well in a multi-level model. Maybe leadership would have been upset with it. Maybe we would have scared people. Maybe it would have created friction within organizations and different things. But truly, what are some things that we want to do? So really set out with two goals in that. Was, let's look at all the best companies out there of any kind of company in any industry, And specifically looking at customers, we said, okay, who are the best companies for their customers? Who treats their customers the best way? And how do they do it? Right? How do they do it? How do they make it so their customers just love to shop with them? Whether it's Nordstrom's customer service or the simplicity of what Uber did to be successful. What are the things that companies are doing to make it so easy to buy from them that customers just keep coming back? It's that same mindset. It's kind of like we continue to get frustrated with Amazon instead of looking at how do we make it so that people want to shop on our site instead of Amazon, because we actually made it more customer friendly, made it better. So we really taken that attitude from a customer. So we really just went out and said, how can we do that? Now, that became so much easier when you do remove yourself from the multi-level model. You open up yourself to a lot of opportunities, things that you couldn't do before. Like I said, because of in one sense, multi-level is so, you can grow so fast because your reps do all the recruiting and the marketing for you and they run with it. On the other hand, because they're doing that, you kind of have to set things up and run things in a way that makes them happy and doesn't, in their mind, compete against them or whatever it may be, limit them. Also, there's, egos will get involved, and there'll be ways of doing business, and there'll be strategies. I think anybody watching or listening to this has had someone not like a marketing campaign because it didn't fit the culture of the leader, right? Examples, we were heavy into sports marketing at times, and sometimes in our efforts to market to who we knew was our actual customer, which were women, we would get a lot of pushback from our field that wasn't sports heavy enough, when we knew from our own data and our own, even just looking at our customers, that football fans were not our primary target. Sure. So we end up doing more sports marketing than we actually should, and at the expense of the customer because of field expectations and things like that. So really looking at how can we simplify that process, because I think even for all of us, as we're shopping online, you're ordering personally, if it's complicated to buy a product, even if sometimes you have to create an account, like I have to create an account, put all my information in, do I really want it that bad? And sometimes you decide you don't want it, and sometimes you just like, I'll get it later. But then what happens when you say you get it later, you don't get it. So one thing, and I think we have just overcomplicated, and as an industry, we've somewhat overcomplicated the ordering process for many good reasons. I mean, there's valid reasons. We're likely, at AdvoCare, we've always had a leads program. That means someone comes in, they come to our website and they want to buy products. Well, we're 30 years old, so we've been around a long time. A lot of people know about us. We've done a lot of advertising over the years. So we're fortunate to have multiple thousands of people that come to our website every month to buy products, just show up on their own. We don't know where they came from. They heard about us somewhere. And technology is helping us figure out where they came from better, but sometimes it's just they saw something, they saw a billboard, they saw a soccer jersey, they remember they used to like Spark from years ago, whatever it may be, and they show up at AdvoCare.com and they want to buy something. So our goal was, okay, we're having so many of these come every month. How do we just make sure we're converting every single one of them? And so looking at now, thinking back to what I was talking about before, the complications that sometimes we create for ourselves in a multi-level marketing industry, because we're constantly trying to connect a new customer with an existing rep. We're trying to make sure they get the coaching they need. We're trying to encourage our reps. And in AdvoCare, we have a leads program, which you qualify if you do certain activities. And over the years, the activities required have changed. Okay, which means if someone shows up to AdvoCare.com and they want to buy, we will actually assign that customer to one of our reps, to a distributor. In essence, it's like a free customer that you didn't have to work for, right? So we've always had a program in place at AdvoCare that says, hey, in order to be given this privilege of free customers, of leads, you've got to earn it. You've got to do certain things. So that exists. So in essence, we always, as companies, we try to make sure that when people come to the website, they're given the right coaching, and then we'll also reward our distributors and our reps for doing so. But in the process, we really complicated it. For us, it used to be, you want to buy something? Oh, okay, enter your zip code so we can connect you with a rep. Oh, and then here's 3 reps to choose from. Click on their story and you can read it. Do you want to buy from Mark that lives 10 miles away? Do you want to buy from Sally that lives 20 miles away? Here's their story. Well, that all sounds very nice. The reality is customers today don't want to click through. They don't want to put their zip code in. They don't want to click on Mark and Sally's profile and pick who they want to order from. Every time you put something like that on the website, you're just creating a barrier to entry and you're losing people every single time. And we knew that was true. So this is one simple example of how we simplified with the change. We said, how do we remove all of that? How do we make it so Bob in North Carolina goes to AdvoCare.com. I used to buy Spark 10 years ago. I don't remember where I got it, but I want some more. He goes to AdvoCare.com. How do we make it so that in maybe 2 clicks, it's on his way there? Think about Amazon. We all love Amazon because 1 or 2 clicks, the product is on its way, right? So how do we do that with our current system? But also, then I had to think also, well, I've got these amazing distributors who stayed with us. We can't just abandon them and just, all right, we'll just sign them up and, no, we want to reward them. Plus, one of the great incentives that we can still have for our field is leads. I mean, we're getting, when 3,000 to 4,000 people are buying from our website every month that just show up and are not connected to anyone, that's 3,000 or 4,000 customers that can be shared with our most valuable and our hardest working group. We don't have leaders anymore. We have our top sellers, is now what we call them, who are our group of top sellers. We want to reward them for that. Okay, but we want it to be like 2 clicks and they're out. So how do we balance that out? So in really saying, but first let's make it best for the customer and figure out how do we make it best for our distributors after that. So what we did was we created a guest checkout, which said, you click, I want to buy some Spark, you click it, you add to your cart, you can immediately click the guest checkout. And now you could do, Apple Pay or Google Pay, or you could just fill out your name and address and credit card and you're done. It's 1 page and send it. But then, so how does the leads program work? Well, it used to be that we connect you with someone locally that you could support you. So when we first went to our distributors and said, hey, this is what we're going to do, there was a lot of fear and say, oh, well, no, I really want to be connected to people in my area. I don't want a customer that lives in another state across the country. And we said, well, would you rather have 1 customer that lives close to you, or would you rather get 3 customers spread across the United States? You want 1 or 3? Which one's better? Because here's what we know, and in showing them the data and showing them even just general basic digital marketing that says, if you can move from 5 clicks to 2 clicks, you're likely to increase the conversion 200 to 300%. So what if we could convert your leads 200 to 300% better than we do today? Would you be okay by them not choosing you? Would be okay by it being automatically assigned to you? So we changed the system from put in your zip code and choose someone to everyone that earns our leads program goes into a pool. And every time a new lead comes in, we give it to the person 1, and then the person 1 drops to the bottom of the list, and then it's person 2, and then they go to the bottom of the list, and it's all random, but everyone is given the same amount of leads, but they don't get to choose and they don't get to decide who they are. And what we found with that through that process was when we said, hey, if we make the priority with the customer experience, we will have success. And we found that immediately implementing that new program, guest checkout with a new lead system, we saw a 2, 3, and sometimes 4-time increase in conversion. We went from we may get 5,000 or 10,000 people to come to the website, went from getting 1,000 orders to getting 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 orders, having months where we would have 5,000 new customers come in through leads because it was so much simpler and easier to order. So it really became something that said, okay, this is, we have something here. One, we learned, put the customer first and everything's going to work out. We also learned for our distributors, hey, look, if we put the customer first and make it easy to buy and easy to order, you're going to get more customers. You're going to get more sales. We began to build trust with our field and saying, putting the customer first will benefit you always. There's often change is scary. People are afraid of it. But we said, look, if we do this, we can sell more. And everyone's going to win if we can just sell more. You don't have the control. Yeah, your customer lives across the state. You'll probably never meet them. They may never answer your phone call. You may not. But guess what? They're still your customer. You're still going to benefit from that. So that was, that simple change that we made that seems like something small. But I think everybody, and I remember mentioning this at DSU, I think it's an opportunity for all of us always and everyone on this to look at your website, to look at how you sell, to look at how everything works and say, could you make it easier? and then think, well, we can't make it easier because it's going to upset so-and-so, or people will be worried. Okay, but is there a way around it? Can you get creative? How could you do it differently? Because if you could increase conversion, if you could do something more than you're doing today, if you could get more customers to buy, well, then everyone's going to win in the end. And being adaptable. And if we're going to compete with the Amazons, or we're going to compete with, those companies that, like for me, I don't buy Nike on Amazon. I have my Nike app and I just order straight from Nike, because to me, it's just as easy as Amazon now. And then there's other perks from doing that. But there are a bunch of brands that I'm like, no, I don't want to. I'm just going to order on Amazon because it's easier. So if we want to compete with Amazon, how do we become that company that says, well, yeah, it's actually easier just to buy from AdvoCare. I get a little better price, and the shipping and what all of the other factors, and we could talk about all of that, but we have to make it simpler for the customer to order. And, by doing so, we win, and our reps win as well. They do.
Now, a word from our sponsor. DSN is honored to be supported by industry suppliers that partner with companies across the channel to help enhance, streamline, and grow your businesses. This episode is sponsored by Exego. In an industry that demands adaptability, Exego delivers unrivaled access to the data that drives your business, from CRM to transactions to commissions, flexible, scalable, and powerful. With Exego, the possibilities are unlimited. To connect and learn more, visit exego.com. That's EXIGO.com. Now, let's get back to the interview with Patrick Wright, CEO of AdvoCare.
You touched on one thing that ends up being a little bit kind of my soapbox here on the podcast, and that is making sure the ease in which people do business with us is benchmarked, which you talked a little bit about with, the best shopping experiences that we have. I think that one of the two biggest challenges we have right now it is not easy in every case. There's certain companies that have definitely simplified things. I would say as a general rule, it is not super easy to transact with us. It's more fulfilling, more emotional, greater community. There's all these wonderful benefits downstream. But if we don't get the customer or the distributor initially, then none of the downstream really matters for that specific relationship. And so I agree, as much friction as we can possibly remove from any of the transactions, whether it's enrollment, whether it's purchasing. And I think sometimes, you mentioned some of the IT systems. I think we feel like, it is what it is. This is just kind of the challenges that we have. But I do think there's the opportunity now, especially to kind of push forward, to kind of treat front end different from back end and find some really great plugins to really help simplify as much as possible. And again, your growth and conversion rate is an amazing testament to the effect that can have. Another really, really important thing, and maybe one of the most important things and ideas that'll come from this podcast, is you talked about putting the customer first. And you said what's best for the customer is going to be best for the distributor. And I think we've all been on the other side of that. Both we know are vital, but it's really kind of a sequencing thing. When we do treat the end customer and set it up for them, meaning more customers, more sales, longer retention, more, better AOV, better LTV, the better it is going to be for your distributors. And I know that that's a promise that you made to them and delivered on. And so that was really vital in building that trust. But I think often we talk about, hey, we're customer obsessed, we're putting customer first. And in reality, we don't. But you had the opportunity to really do that and saw that benefit, not just the customer, but also the distributor. I think another thing that's fascinating that you did is you've really kind of owned the customer journey, really from the outset, where I think many companies were not sure exactly the role we play in the customer lifecycle or the new distributor lifecycle. Again, as you mentioned, there's greater distance now. The reach is greater. And so it's more challenging for a distributor to, go meet with their friend down the block or whatever it ends up being. But can you talk a little bit about the importance of owning that entire journey with the customer from start to finish? Again, and I know it's a partnership, but can you talk a little bit about the importance of that?
Yes, it was definitely a top goal from the very beginning for us to say, we need to make sure that we are owning managing and taking care of the customer in every possible way. If that customer also has a good relationship with their sponsor and the sponsor is able to help them as well, that's even better. But we're going to assume just from the beginning, we're just going to assume they're not getting that. And we're going to own that and take that over. And in fact, and I do believe that, and this is not anything against any rep or in any company, but in theory, the company should be able to do a better job at marketing and supporting a customer than any individual can do. I'm not talking about the personal relationship in the phone call about when do I take this product? Yes, of course, that individualized coaching can never be the same, and it will always be there. It's not going to happen on a regular basis. Just numbers will show that very, very few customers are actually going to pick up the phone and get that individualized coaching. They're not going to call. And the way the world is changing today, especially with influencers and affiliates, they cannot support all of the customers that they're bringing in. And a successful influencer is not doing customer service for the products that they're promoting. They are just adding, hey, credibility, I love this, you should try it. When people have questions, they're calling the company directly. So we knew we could do the best job at supporting them. We knew our branding will be the best. We have amazing teams, and we have amazing graphic designers. We have amazing marketers. We have amazing email campaigns. We have all this. The look and the feel and the brand is always going to be better when we own that. And then through, whether it be through social media, through Facebook groups, through whatever it may be, we can create that intimate connection. We can create that coaching opportunity. We can create a community of peer-to-peer helping of each other. But still, in the end, we own that. And we knew that was the most important thing to do. And I think we can't rely on the field to really take care of every single customer. Plus, we also know, especially in this day and age, a lot of people, they don't want to get a phone call from someone they don't know, coaching them up from some guy. We also know that some reps are not the savviest when it comes to interpersonal communications and supporting and sharing, and they may be they could be too aggressive or whatever it may be. And some people just honestly feel more comfortable talking with the company directly or communicating or seeing it. So we knew there was an advantage there. So we just wanted to just own it from the beginning. And we've seen great success in that. And I think also what we found is our reps have really enjoyed that. They know their customers are getting, emails on a regular basis. They're getting customized journeys through email, through AdvoCare. They know their customers are getting really high quality content. They're getting all that and then they just are there to support them in any way they can. Like, hey, I'm here. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if you need anything. And I think they've really enjoyed that process, and it's worked out really well.
Yeah. If I was a field leader or field rep, I would love the company to be able to, be very involved in the process, and I can jump in where I have the greatest strength, I have the greatest impact, and don't have to, manage every little interaction or transaction. Also, I think circling back to the point you made earlier, I think it also allowed you to really, as you mentioned, focus on your core target audience and not really be influenced to maybe dilute the positioning or go after, some tertiary audience, but really go after who you knew were your prime customers. You also you mentioned kind of influencer. Again, this is a really hot topic. I'd love for you to go in a little bit in what you have found successful there at AdvoCare, and maybe give a little bit more definition. I think when people hear influencer, their mind immediately goes to some macro influencer that you pay, $1 million for one post. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's not going to really be effective. But can you talk about the importance of really more of that micro influencer, that subject matter expert micro influencer?
Especially with the shift in our business model, we looked at we are not recruiting reps in like we did before, because our reps cannot recruit other reps. And so the only people that can get new rep is the company. We're the only ones that can. So we thought we have to move it to, if we bring somebody new on to talk about AdvoCare, we want them to have an influence. We're excited when just, someone similar to the past joins and wants to join us, whether they be a school teacher or a nurse or whatever, a coach, a personal trainer. We're excited to have them join us. But also we're excited to have, someone with some influence that is talking about AdvoCare on a larger scale that can bring in more people. So we've had success. I think the first thing that we've done And it's fortunate. There's the benefits of being around as long as we have and done a lot of the marketing we've done is we've been able to really find that some influencers were talking about us before we even connected with them. We found people were trying our products or using them just because they liked them. And that was how some of our first work with influencers began, with people who are already using the products. So then we reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you talk about Spark on Instagram. Let's have a conversation. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Once it took a year to actually have that conversation, and they would continually once a month or so show their morning Spark routine. But we first would start with people that love the products. We want it to be a genuine thing. We don't want it to be like, hey, I'm getting paid to talk about this product, because people see through that typically. And the good influencers won't do it. The good influencers won't represent or talk about products that they don't actually like. So that's how we began through the process. And since then, we have some we would call micro influencers. We have done something recently with someone that has over 1 million followers. She was one that already was using Spark before. And we've done a couple of campaigns with her that have been very, very successful. In fact, more successful than anything we've ever done with professional athletes, NFL players, football games, soccer jerseys, any of that's been more successful in all of our history. So we've seen there's a power in it. It's just one. This is a long-term strategy. I think anybody that thinks they're going to go in and start doing influencer marketing and they're going to see huge results in 6 months or even 12 months, you're not. If you want to do it right, I think you've got to build relationships with these people. You've got to take the time to get the right people involved and then put it together in the right kind of way. It's not necessarily easy. And we're still learning. I wish I could say, oh, here's the recipes for success with influencer marketing. And one, it's always changing, but still we're really learning still a lot about how this works. But we've had some success, and we began to see the power that can come when you have these influential people talking about your products.
Love that. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other efforts you're making, whether it's digital performance marketing, kind of top of the funnel, customer acquisition efforts that you have found really successful?
I'm not going to be one to take credit for any of these, because this is our amazing marketing team led by Christina Helwig. But, we've really, I think the key focus was one, we say, do what's best for our customer. Our marketing team, all right, they took that challenge. They said, but who is our customer? And that's the biggest question you have to ask. Who is your customer? We don't want to just try to sell to everybody. And we've mentioned before, we have health conscious Haley and multitasking Michelle is who we've kind of identified as our two target customers. One is a little more health conscious. One's reading the ingredients, the ingredient panel. They're really wanting to live that healthy lifestyle. The other is just really busy all the time and needs some energy drinks and wants healthy energy. And just, whether it's because they got kids and a job and work, whatever it may be, they need that help to get through the day. So identifying the kind of those two key customers, well, then we seek out to reach them. So when we look at influencers, we're looking for influencers that are attracting Haley or Michelle. And as we look from a digital marketing, constantly working, SEO is constantly changing, but we're really reaching out, whether it's social, paid search, whatever it may be. What are those? Where will we find them? From a large scale marketing efforts, we've moved away from a lot of the sports marketing that we have done in the past. We still have some, but really moved away from a lot of that. Our more recent larger thing we've done is become partnered with the Rock and Roll Marathon, where instead of it's the big brand on TV, it is the on the ground with a really professional booth set up at a marathon with thousands of people running by and actually trying the products, setting up our website and taking advantage of technology to offer promotion codes. Someone could take a promo code that they got there to try the product or get something for free or get a pretty big discount. So we shifted it from large scale promotion to going to where we think, say, Haley or Michelle would be, and really taking the marketing to them, whether that's digital or physically in person. So really shifting that and really trying to find them. So I think the first part, you got to identify who you're working to attract, then where would you find them? And then the attitude we've always taken from the beginning, from the first day, was try it. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't, stop and try something else. And we just do that over and over again. Try it. And we told that to our field from the very beginning. Hey, we don't know. We're going to assume that we know what we're doing. Because if I came out and said, hey, I know what I'm doing, I know how to take this company from multi-level to single. Oh yeah, I got this. Don't worry, guys. I mean, that would be inauthentic and untrue. So become something and say, hey, we don't know what we're doing, but we've got a lot of ideas and we're just going to keep trying things. And when they work, we'll keep doing them. When they don't work, we'll stop and do something different. And we've taken that attitude, and we still have that attitude. And especially the benefits of digital marketing and all that is you can do that. Right.
Absolutely. And it just changes so rapidly that what worked yesterday isn't always going to work tomorrow. And so
exactly.
I think giving your team the permission to follow that test, learn, scale, emphasis on the learn, if it's not working, jettison it. If it is, scale it, put some more money, more power behind that. And I would just love to insert here. You mentioned, Christina, your SVP of sales and marketing. She will be at DSU speaking at the digital selling workshop. So for anybody that wants to know a little bit more about what you and AdvoCare are doing from customer acquisition, all the way through the funnel from a digital perspective, make sure you attend that. I definitely know I'm going to be there.
She would definitely share much more on the details and the specifics is exactly what we're doing and really narrow in on that. So that'll be a great presentation.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I think, again, people are going to walk away with pages of notes from that. So make sure you're attending. So with the growth of these, affiliate programs, multi-tiered affiliate programs, what can more traditional direct selling companies do to incorporate this into their current business practice? Is it something they can pull inside? Do they need to try to develop things externally in parallel? What are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy. And I think, but a lot of companies have found, there are a number of really big time influencers that have found success actually being the traditional rep of, not affiliate really. They're, whether it's called a distributor or whatever, product consultant. Influencers have had huge success and built massive organizations through their influence. I think the question that you have to ask is, should there be something different for influencers that's not exactly the same as your regular person who has 800 Instagram followers, right? So I'm excited to see some companies trying this and seeing, what if we did have a different compensation system for that group of people? What if it was set up a little bit differently so that they could have success? I think one of the things that I hated to hear was at the DSU, the CEO summit. We were talking, and one of the CEOs there of a major company mentioned that they have influencers who have, making incredible amounts of money because of their influence, selling so many products, but feeling like a failure and voicing that because they're not achieving the whatever top level like some other people around, even though they're having so much success, but on a personal note, they're feeling a failure because the compensation system, it's rewarding them in incredible ways. And they're probably making as much, if not more than these top people, whether they're called diamonds or platinums or whatever they may be. But they're feeling like they're not as successful and they're struggling. I think, wow, that's a travesty. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have to, if there's a way for someone to be successful, just getting a lot of customers, they should be given that opportunity. And one thing that we realized when we made the change, people can learn from, there are a lot of people in your organizations who hate recruiting. And you could not want to believe that, but it's true. There are people that do not like talking about the business. They do it because they have to, but they don't want to. They would much rather just talk about the products and sell the products. So how do you create an opportunity for those people to just do that? And I think that, one thing that I had to face myself and to a reckoning was when everything happened in 2019. I said, we've always said that we're in this for the little guy, that we want someone to be able to make $100 a month, $200 a month, that we just want someone to make that, have help with that car payment, but have our actions and our promotions, the way we've run the business, how we've treated everyone. Has it really been true to that? Or has more of our decisions been made for the person that makes $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month? Do we make decisions more based on how they're going to take it, how it's going to benefit them, how they'll receive it? Will they be mad at us? Am I going to get a phone call or a text after I make this announcement? Or are we making it for that person that just wants to make a little bit of extra money, because I get it, it's hard to make decisions for the little guy when the big guy is in your ear and they're loud and they're influential and they may call your boss right away, or they'll call the owner, whatever it may be. But in the end, truly, if you can, will it not benefit everyone if there are more people making $200 or $300 a month, right?
Sure.
Will it not benefit everyone if there are more customers buying because you made it easier to shop? Will it not benefit everybody? So I think sometimes it's one thing we've learned through this whole process is, yes, there's some difficult conversations that have to happen. There's some convincing, and there's some trust that you have to earn, and also just say, you need to trust me in doing what's best for the customer, but also doing what's best for the little guy. I'm going to call him the rep that just wants to earn a little bit of money. Doing what's best for them is going to lift everyone up, and it's going to make it better for everyone, even though that's a difficult conversation and a lot of people won't believe it at first. And it may take a little while for that to actually come to pass.
Well, again, my mind goes back to your comments around your target audiences, the two personas that you established. But I think the first step is understanding that you do have multiple audiences, multiple customer segments. And I think that's one of the areas also that we've been challenged with as a channel is historically, we probably treated everybody a little bit more the same. Everybody got the same message, whether, they were advancing in rank quickly or maybe a little bit slower, or maybe sharing product or maybe just consuming the product. They kind of all got the same messaging, but now we have the ability to really dig in and segment and create these unique journeys and experiences for each of our customer types or field types, whether they're just there to share the product or where they really want to grow and build a team. And I think you mentioned the influencer and affiliate that you have a lot that are making great money. I think that's another huge opportunity for us in direct selling, is helping to communicate to those people. I'll call them a little more of the traditional affiliate or traditional influencers that are used to sharing products and introducing their followers to products. With our subscription, with this ongoing revenue, it actually can be a huge win for these affiliates and influencers, where outside of these subscription programs, it's a one and done. And then they have to go find more people or keep, hitting their same audience over and over again with something new. So I think there's something really attractive for influencers and affiliates within the direct selling channel to just kind of slide in really neatly. Now looking back, so you've had, a few years now to look back throughout this shift, even though, again, it maybe started a few years before 2019. What do you think is one of the most important things you learned about your own leadership style throughout this process?
I think that, we're often taught or shown a model of leadership that is, supposed to be strong and bold and have all the answers, right? That a leader steps up and just makes the decision and just knows what they're doing and come with me. I know what to do. Let's go. And I think I learned, and probably not by choice, I learned because I didn't have all the answers, but I decided in the very beginning that, that's okay. And because no one else, and probably because no one else had any answers, and I reached out and I tried to find help for somebody that could help with some answers, and no one had any. So it's okay. Well, we're the first people to have to do this. No one has the answers. So you know what? Let's own that. And I decided that my leadership style and how I would approach leading through this transition would be in just full transparency and authenticity, and just come out and say that we don't know exactly what we're doing, but you know what? We love this company. We are going to work so hard. We're going to do everything we can to make this work. And we know what we've got. And just talk kind of like I talked in the beginning about talking about how we're going to keep everything that's great and get rid of everything that doesn't help us. And we're going to move forward in any way that we possibly can. But just owning that fact that we didn't know everything, that we didn't have all the answers, that we didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. It may look a little bit different 60 days from now, 120 days from now. But I can tell you what, never doubt our commitment to it. Never doubt how hard we're going to try. And just, I found that trust is built so much more on authenticity than it is on saying what that people want to hear, that they will trust you more when you are just real and authentic. And so I think that was the biggest lesson for me, was that if you don't have the answer, don't pretend that you have it. That doesn't mean you're not strong. That doesn't mean you're not bold. That doesn't mean you don't speak with conviction. But at the same time, people know that you're still learning, and that's okay. And then I think we gained that trust, so that when we came out with something new, we said, hey, we believe this could be great. We're going to try it. But if it doesn't work, we'll stop and we'll do something different. And it actually kind of became fun, and people liked it. And so that authenticity ended up being our greatest strength for us.
And really, I'm sure had a huge impact on the culture there as well, how everything operates today. I think that's really incredible. Mm-hmm. So final question, what's next for AdvoCare? As you look down the road the next few years, what do you see?
For us, it's been such a fun, it's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of challenges along the way, and especially the past couple of years, even with COVID that happened to come just a year later, we got hit with COVID. But really, it has been so much fun really introducing this new model and seeing the success and really enjoying it. And now as we look to the future, we say, okay, what we need to continue to evolve and continue to change. We need to look for new avenues and new ways to bring customers in. When everything is on us to, for customers, in a sense, I mean, we have a lot of great distributors, reps that are still out promoting their products, but they cannot bring in as many customers as we were able to bring in the past. The number is just smaller, and we don't have the multi-level, magnification and multiplication effect. So it's really on us. So our big challenge we have now is, okay, where do we find the most customers? How do we get out there and do something new? So it's doing different things than we're used to doing. And I think that's the next part of what are we going to try that we haven't done before, right? Is doing something new and different that we've never done before, whether it's a new product line that's very different from our usual, whether it's selling products in a different way. I think we've got these amazing distributors, and we want to hold on to them as best as we can. We're also figuring out that we can also get a lot of customers on our own. And how do we continue to balance that and find the happy medium there to where we're growing just as much as we can? So for us, I think that in the next few years, we would be new products, new innovation, things that are totally different from what we've done before, really taking more control on our own from a manufacturing standpoint, really looking at new opportunities there. And how do we, looking at from an affiliate influencer model, doing some things differently and having some separate compensation systems and separate compensation plans for those people as well. I think there's going to be a lot of new, and also getting the products out in different ways that we don't get them out there today, in putting them in places where we can expose more people to the products, but in a way that still benefits our distributors. And I think we're starting to see that some other direct sales companies doing that. They're putting products in places that you normally wouldn't see a direct sales company, but their distributors are actually excited about it. It's a win-win. And I think we want to, also find opportunities to do that. So that's going to be the next couple of years for us in finding those. It's really a key piece for us. But in the end, we want to stay true to who we are. We want to be the best company for our distributors and our customers, and just continue to capitalize on the success that we've had.
Well, we know that based on your history there at AdvoCare, that it will be a success. We look forward to watching you over the next several years continue to grow. So many companies on the channel are looking to you and AdvoCare for lessons, for insights, for indicators of what future elements and dynamics within direct selling channel will be, and try to incorporate those and pull it into the current model. So thanks for being a trailblazer and out there ahead, and having so many of us learn from you. Thank you for your insights, for taking the time, sharing the wisdom. It means a lot. And look forward to hearing a little bit more about AdvoCare at DSU this spring.
All right. Thanks so much, Wayne. I appreciate you guys having me on, and happy to share the story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Patrick.
Take care.
Thank you for tuning in. We invite you to subscribe so that you're the first to know when new episodes are available. And don't miss out on attending DSU and the exclusive digital selling workshop this April 19th and 20th. Register today at dsu2023.com to join your peers in person for sharing, learning, and networking, and for the annual DSN Global Celebration. Thank you for listening and supporting DSN and the Direct Approach Podcast.